well, she does have a little bit of fluid in her lungs, and we think that, it's the start of pneumonia, but that's not the issue. He showed us the film. He says this mass here should not be there.
So neuroblastoma is actually one of the most common forms of pediatric cancer. Within North America, approximately 750 children a year are diagnosed under the age of 15.
She told me that Abigail had stage 4. That was the highest stage you can go, and I remember just hanging up the phone and just kind of sitting in my office for like an hour, didn't even know what to do. Like for the first time in my life, I didn't know what to do. And when I got there, we just started bawling, remember? Yeah.
Just imagine for just a little tiny moment, as little as you can handle, that it's your kid.
And many people haven't heard about neuroblastoma, but in the pediatric world of cancer, neuroblastoma is quite common. It originates in nerve tissue, but it originates outside the brain. So the tumor starts in nerve tissue, either along the spinal cord or there's actually some nerve tissue in the middle of the adrenal gland called the adrenal medulla.
And there was one moment that I knew there was something wrong when she bent over and her stomach was like sticking out, really distended, and we didn't realize that was not milk belly. That was, tumor growing very rapidly.
There's a lot of different ways this tumor will present. So sometimes it just presents as an asymptomatic lump, for instance, in the neck. But much more commonly, patients will present with symptoms related to their metastatic disease. And the tumor metastasizes or spreads to the bone. And one of the most common presentations is patients will present with pain.
So we were in the ER twice with x-rays that showed us that she was full of stool, so we kept moving on that direction until the day that she stood up and fell down because she couldn't stand. Her legs were hurting her so badly. Put us to the pediatrician, who put us to the ER, who after several tests found the mass growing in her right adrenal gland, which then after some staging found out was stage 4 neuroblastoma. She had metastasized to her bones and her bone marrow.
And we treat them with very, very intensive therapies. We treat them with very high doses of chemotherapy. They undergo surgery, they undergo radiation, they undergo high-dose therapy and stem cell transplant. And it takes a toll on the family and it takes a toll on the child.
And the thing that really shattered us was when they told us the first round was the easiest. And we looked at that and the state he was in, and we did not think he was ever going to become himself again. So this cancer's taken away our boy already.
Even the children who survive, however, after being treated with this very intensive therapy, they have all sorts of long-term toxicities and they suffer as well.
Me being over 18 is very, very rare. I am at a point where there's not very many options left to me. I have to go around the country looking for different treatments that are available. And I was on this really intense treatment where I had to lay in the bed, and the doctors came in and they injected me with this really intense radiation, and then I had, and everything in the whole room was covered in plastic and paper, and even the remote was in plastic, and then I had lead shields up everywhere in front of me and behind me because I was actually really radioactive. They had injected very strong doses of radiation.
And unfortunately, even with this very intensive therapy and all the toxicities that are associated with this very intensive therapy, the majority of patients are not cured.
We founded CNCF after our son Nicholas was diagnosed with neuroblastoma in 1999. He fought for 4 years and unfortunately lost his battle with the disease. We, as a family who had been stricken with it, wanted to make a difference and to make sure that everybody in the world knew what neuroblastoma was. It was affecting our children, and we needed to do something to raise money for research, education, and bring about the awareness of the disease.
So CNCF was introduced to us very early on. She said, let me write down a website. This is the website I want you to go to. She said, you can do all the research you want, but if you want a reputable site that has credible information, and she gave us CNCF website.
So I spent some time on their website and I realized that unlike other cancer organizations, unlike other places we went, this was all about neuroblastoma, and there was information, and there was the information we needed, but there was also hopeful information.
CNCF for us, I think the most important thing I learned or got from them was the handbook that became my little paper or my book that I clung to. It was so much information, and that was a really helpful tool. And then after we were done with treatment, to go to that conference that just is a wealth of information and very beneficial, and one I plan to attend every year.
The conference is a very, very important component of the CNCF, and the doctors have learned from it as well. And then one of the next steps that we have done is provided over $1 million in research funding over the last several years. And it's something that we obviously would like to increase that amount to several $1 million if we can.
There are treatments out there that are potentially sitting on the shelf right now because their money isn't behind them to back them to produce these new drugs. It's critical that organizations such as CNCF raise money, raise awareness, raise funds needed that can save our children.
There's got to be a better way. And the only better way we're going to find is through raising awareness, through raising funds, and through research, providing the funding for the research.
It's important to know that they need your help, they need your support. Hopefully one day there will be cures out there and treatments out there that after children have the response that Drew had, doctors can say to their parents, your child's going to be okay. It's over now, and your child's going to be all right.
Thank you for helping me. Thanks for having me.